Let's head back to the voicemail of Truth and Reason.
I have a question. This is Steve in South Carolina, Browns fan. Here's what I don't get. I don't have the statistics, but it seems to me that Kevin Stefanski calling the plays doesn't focus on the stars. In other words, we have a running back that ran the ball the last game 12 times. He's one of the best in the NFL. Shouldn't he run it like 22 times, 25 times? We have a great receiver in number 2. How many times did he get the ball? I think Stefanski is a poor offensive coordinator. I think he tries to outsmart himself. Don't outsmart yourself. Give the ball to the guys that make the frickin' plays. And that's my point. Hey, you guys have a great show. Go Browns. Love you guys. Thank you.
As always, appreciate all of the voicemails. Quincy, we talked about this in the last segment. I don't really have an issue with the play calling. I kind of understand. The thing I'd say is Nick Chubb had the third most carries in the NFL behind Derrick Henry and Josh Jacobs, who pretty much were run into the ground by their respective teams. So it's not like Nick Chubb didn't get the ball a lot.
Yeah, and then we also have to realize, like, the situation they were in was, like, what was important after they were pretty much out of the playoff run wasn't let's get Nick Chubb the rushing title and let's run him into the ground running the football in games in which he's not going to really make a difference whether this team makes the playoffs or not, because that's already kind of been determined. It was, okay, what's going to help this team make the playoffs next year? Improve quarterback play. What do we need to know about Deshaun Watson in this offense? Everything. So you wanted data on that, right? That doesn't mean that you don't play to win the games, but that means that you also, you're going to prioritize maybe less touches for Nick Chubb and maybe more throws for Deshaun Watson, just so you can have some information on what he likes, what he doesn't like. And I think that's what they kind of did. And then as far as like running the ball 12 times in that last Pittsburgh game, some people might consider that's 12 too many. Why would, like, some people would even want you not to play Nick Chubb in that game, right? I wouldn't be one of those people, but, like, I'm not going to complain about how many carries the guy got in the game that only could determine whether we would go 7-10 versus 8-9. You know what I mean? Like, that just wasn't worth it to run Nick Chubb 22 times there, because Nick Chubb's going to be very important for this team next year. Kevin is not going to be somebody who's going to spam the ball to a certain player. But also, I think fans should think about the fact that other teams are also trying to take away those players, right? It's not just what Kevin wants to do. It's also what the defense is doing to the offense. And, yeah, you could force the ball to Amari Cooper all the time, but you're going to be throwing into double, triple coverages. And we saw Deshaun Watson try to force the ball to Amari Cooper a couple of times this year through some interceptions. We weren't like, hey, glad he was thinking about getting the ball to Amari Cooper then, right? Like, so it's all results-based. And if it's going to be results-based, the only result that's actually going to matter is whether they win or lose on Sundays. But if we're talking about this from like a data standpoint, I think the play calling has been fairly balanced. It's been balanced for the last 3 years.
Yeah, I have no issue with his play calling. The game management, different conversation for a different day. But his play calling hadn't been bad.